Hi, and welcome to another episode of Heart and Health Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and I'm so glad that you are here. Today, we are going to talk all about how you can overcome your anxieties and your fears with a method that actually works. I've implemented this into my own life. It helps me. I've taught patients and clients in my own practice how to use it, and it's worked for them too. So, really excited to teach you that. If you missed last week's episode, we were talking about challenges with sleep, falling asleep, staying asleep, not getting enough sleep, and then also what it's like to feel kind of that morning dread when you didn't get enough rest. So if that's something that you've been struggling with and you missed that episode, I'd encourage you to go back and check that out. Also, if you have yet to take my 3-minute wellness blind spot quiz, I would recommend that you go check that out. I'm going to leave the link for it down in the show notes. But this is just a really simple quiz. You don't even need to print anything out. You can just use some scratch paper. It takes just a couple of minutes to do it. It's going to help you identify which area of your wellness that you might be unintentionally neglecting that might be preventing you from really achieving wellness like you want to. So check that out, made it just for you, totally free. So today we are going to talk about fear because it is something that we are all going to inevitably face at some point in our life, probably multiple times in our life. Sometimes I hear people say, don't be afraid, be strong, be courageous, let go of fear. And I understand that there is an intent there where they're trying to be encouraging and helpful, but there's actually a lot of harm in trying to dismiss fear and act like it doesn't exist. And sometimes when we tell ourselves to ignore something, it just makes us think about it even more. Acting like fear isn't there is definitely not helpful. I also hear people say something like, you know, yes, that's scary, but you can do it. You're so awesome. And they pump you up with almost this like toxic positivity that totally negates the real effect that fear and anxiety has on your life. And I don't think that works either. You can try to pump yourself up as much as you want to, and it's still not going to make the difference. So today we're going to talk about real fears and a solution that I think is going to help you actually acknowledge the fear, overcome it, and move forward in a better way that leaves you feeling really satisfied and proud of yourself. So I wanted to share some of the examples of things that I have been afraid of and also things that I've helped some of my patients work through that they've had fears of. So first one for me is snakes, really anything creepy crawly, but especially snakes. Don't do snakes. They freak me out. They're not soft and fuzzy. I really like animals. Snakes kind of freak me out. Okay, but this method that I'm going to teach you today has helped me when I've been in a situation where I had to like hold a snake for a picture. I don't know. It was college. It was weird. It was in Northgate. Alcohol might have been involved, but this is the method that I use to overcome it. Not the alcohol. We're not encouraging that part, okay? Also, sometimes I've talked to people who are afraid of leaving their home, of going outside of their little comfort zone, their boundary that they've created in their community, and they don't want to leave and go beyond that because it's scary of what could happen. Okay, that's a very real fear that's going to limit your ability to engage with other people, live out your life the way that you need to. That's a hard thing to overcome. Using this method has helped these patients, I'm thinking of one in particular, to do things differently and be really excited about the progress that they're seeing in their life. And they're using this method to do it. Fear of speaking in public. Another one. As much as I seem so comfortable in front of the camera, and as much as I love talking to people, every time I get up to give an actual talk at a conference or presentation, even if it's from my residents who I have a great relationship with, there's still like butterflies and stuff happening in my body. There's some nervousness and some anxiety that's related to public speaking. And I know this is a big one for most folks. So this has also worked for public speaking. Fear of confrontation. Man, I'm someone who really likes to be direct and honest and transparent. And sometimes that comes across as confrontational, but it's good, healthy confrontation. And this is one that it's really hard for people and they'll really avoid it. And even when I'm having those confrontations, even when it's a good thing to have, it still makes me uncomfortable. Using this method helps me get through that and figure out a way to make it constructive and helpful and something that I'm proud of myself afterwards for speaking up about and moving forward through. Okay, so I think these are some examples. Hopefully, you're seeing the trend here of how fear is normal, the response to fear is normal, experiencing anxiety is normal. It's something that we can all relate to at some point in our life, but it gets in the way of living our life to the fullest and doing the things that we want to do. And so, this is a method that's going to help us get past that. All right, so let's talk about some of just the physiological responses to fear and anxiety. I already mentioned kind of that knots in your stomach or butterflies in your stomach. And it's kind of helpful to think about fear is similar to excitement, right? Either way, the body is going, oh my goodness, something is about to happen. I need to be prepared for it. So there's going to be tenseness. You might experience like sweating, whether that's your armpits are sweaty or your face is sweaty, or you get hot and flushed, your face turns red, your neck or your cheeks turn red, right? Everything is going, oh my goodness, there's something happening, right? So sweating, shaking, if you're trembling. I know, sometimes speaking in public, you're going to talk a lot faster. I notice myself even when I'm doing this podcast, I start to talk faster, or your voice gets crackly, or your mouth gets dry. Those are all really normal things that are going to happen physiologically that you're not even aware of, but your brain is sending signals to your body and saying something is happening. Alert, alert, alert. Okay. Racing heartbeat. This is a big one that I hear from people who are experiencing panic attacks and they end up at the ER and they're like, something is wrong with my heart. Really, it's just because there's anxiety there. So normal responses, normal physiological responses to stress, to fear, to anxiety, and excitement. It's all the same stuff. Cortisol is being released. Your body is responding. Very, very normal. So I think the important thing that I want you to take away from this conversation is that we are not denying fear. This is a very real experience that we all have because we are human. It is a normal animal response to situations that are creating some kind of stress, whether that's positive stress or negative stress. Those are normal responses, and it's not helpful to deny that it's happening, and it's not helpful to try and just beat it down or push it down with toxic positivity. Neither of those are helpful. Saying that it doesn't exist, not going to help you get through it. Saying that you just need to be positive and smile through and ignore it, not going to help either. We need something that's going to actually help us acknowledge the real fear and circumstances that are going on and give us the tools to move past it and continue on in the direction that makes us feel good about things and feel confident in our abilities, even when that fear is there. So fear and anxiety, totally part of the human experience, whether it's public speaking, confrontation, doesn't matter what it is, your body is going to respond. Your palms are going to get sweaty. Your thoughts are going to start racing. Your stomach is going to feel upset. Those things are very, very normal. That does not mean that there's something wrong with you, that you're experiencing those things. It just means that your body is working hard to protect you. It's saying, hey, I'm sending all these warning signs, all these red flags. Please notice one of them so that we stop and you don't put yourself in a bad situation that can cause you harm or distress or discomfort or anything like that. Your brain is trying to protect you. So say, thank you, brain. Appreciate it. But sometimes those reactions are going to hold us back and we're not going to be able to engage in the things that are really meaningful to us. And that is not helpful at all to our life overall. So that's why we want to do something different. And this is where I'm going to introduce something called the pause and pivot method. Okay. So first, I want you to take a pause. This means that you're going to deep breathe, inhale for 2 seconds, and then exhale for 2 seconds. Now, you've heard me talk, if you listen to the podcast, you've heard me talk before about deep breathing, trying to do it for maybe 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds. That is really the goal when we're trying to do mindfulness meditation and we're really focused on slowing things down and focusing on our breath. But the pause and pivot method, you are in fight or flight. Your brain is go, go, go. It's freaking out. We don't have time for calm. It's really hard to get there. So what I want you to focus on is 2 breaths or 2 seconds of a breath in and 2 seconds of a breath out. So you're going to count to 4. In, 1, 2, out, 3, 4. In, 1, 2, out, 3, 4. If you want to do it a couple times, great. But I really just want you to focus on doing at least that initial first breath. That is enough to just disrupt the fear process that is happening right now. Your brain, when it gets into that fear mode, is on figuring us out. We're either fight, flight, or freezing, right? We need to disrupt that cycle, that pattern that's happening, and taking a deep breath in and exhaling is enough to disrupt it just slightly. You're saying, I'm going to do this exercise. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. That's getting your brain focused on something else. Seems really simple, seems kind of silly, but I promise you it's going to help, and it's going to help you change the way that you respond to fearful situations. Okay. So take a breath in and slowly count to 2. Take a breath out, count to 2. So in 1, 2, out 3, 4. This is going to calm your body down just enough to loosen that grip that fear has on you in the moment. Okay. Just enough to change it. The next part is the pivot part. Now, this is the part where I need you to do a little bit of imagery. Okay. It doesn't have to be really intense. I'm not getting woo woo here, but I need you to picture yourself on the other side of this scary moment. And I want you to focus on you doing something that is in alignment with your values. What is important to you? Okay. So if we're talking about getting on that scary boat, instead of thinking about how the boat is going to sink and you're going to be surrounded by sharks, that's not helpful to you. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to pause, breathe in and out. And I'm going to think about myself getting on that boat. Let's say you're going with your family, you're going to do a big trip, thinking about myself on that boat, how much fun we're going to have, building family memories together, bonding together, sharing that special time. That's aligned with your value of being close with your family and spending time together. That's the part I want you to focus on. And then I want you to combine it with a short, truth-based phrase that's going to help you anchor that vision to get you past it. Okay. So something like, we're going to make amazing family memories together. Something that is truthful that you can hold on to. This isn't make believe. This isn't toxic positivity, smile through the pain. No, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make family memories together, and that's going to be something that is wonderful. And you're going to focus on that part. So you breathe in, you breathe out, you picture yourself on the other side having fun on the boat. You say, we're going to make wonderful family memories together. That's the pivot. Our brains are so, so powerful. And it's the story that we tell ourselves that's actually contributing to how we feel. So that initial feeling, you may not be able to control that, but we can control our thoughts. So once you see that feeling come up, then you can do something different with your thoughts using the pause and the pivot, and then put it into application. You feel better and you can move past it. So with this example of the boats, your family wants to go on a cruise, but everything in your body is screaming, no, I don't want to do that. But family is what matters most to you. So you're going to pause, you're going to breathe, you're going to pivot your focus to the joy on the other side, laughing together, enjoying time on the deck, eating at the nice dinners, sunsets on the beach, whatever it might be. And you tell yourself, I can do hard things for the people I love. And then you book the ticket. And when it comes time to step on the boat, you do the same thing. I can do hard things for the people that I love. And you take the step on the boat, whatever it might be. Okay, it is scary. We're not denying that. You are doing something even though you have that fear. And you're focusing on why you're doing it with the truth statement and that vision of something good, joyful, positive happening. Okay. I think it's really important to recognize that this pause and pivot method doesn't require you to reject the fear. I'm not asking you to pretend like it doesn't exist or that your fear is silly or stupid or that you shouldn't have the fear. Not at all what I'm telling you. You just choose a different story to focus on rather than the story of fear. Our lives are a combination of stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over again. And that fear story also exists as a narrative that can be modified, shifted, reauthored. And that's what we're doing. We're reauthoring the narrative that's in our mind to focus on something that's positive and going to help you, not just positive in the sense of like toxic positivity, but positive and encouraging in that you can do this even though you are experiencing fear. You're going to choose a different story that is aligned with your values and is going to help your body shift out of that fear phase into one of purpose and excitement, right? Mel Robbins actually talks about this. She has an episode where she talks about how fear and excitement are very much the same, triggering the same physiological response. And so she encourages you to tell yourself that you're excited. And if you're excited about the thing, it makes it a whole lot easier to do it. This is similar to that, but you may not be excited to do it. But if you can tell yourself, some kind of statement that is aligned with your values, that you're going to do it anyways, I think that can be really helpful. So this is what I'm going to call the pause and pivot effect, or the pause and the pivot method, and it works. It's rooted in neuroscience and it's completely aligned with the biopsychosocial spiritual framework, which is why I like it. So, biologically, by taking that deep breath in and breathing out, you're calming that nervous system down. Even with just one breath, it's going to help do that. You want to do more breaths? Awesome. But you just need to start with the one. Psychologically, you're reframing your thoughts. That reframing technique is a powerful tool that we use in therapy all the time because it works. It is proven with research to work over and over again. Socially, you're prioritizing your connection with others, your connection with yourself, your connection with your family, your connection with your friends, your coworkers, whatever it might be. Prioritizing that connection is really important. And spiritually, you're aligning with what matters to you most. What are your values? Aligning your behaviors with those values to make sure that you are living out a purpose-driven, value-aligned life. Okay? So, biopsychosocial spiritual framework, totally at play when we're focusing on that pause and pivot method. Okay, let me use one more example for public speaking. So, let's pretend that you're going to give this big work presentation. You're in front of a room of, I don't know, 50 to 100 people. That's a good sized group of folks. And you're just feeling really anxious about maybe flustering over your words or messing up the numbers, or your slides aren't right. I don't know. There's a fear there of not getting it just right. Okay. Before you walk out, you take a deep breath in and out. Tell yourself, I'm going to picture myself standing in front of the group, feeling confident, sharing a message that is helpful to others, helping our company do this or that, whatever it might be, but you're confident and you're sharing a message that is good and helpful. And you're going to tell yourself, I speak with clarity and courage when I share stuff that I know about. Okay. I speak with clarity and courage when I tell others about this topic. Okay. It's something that you need to trust yourself, right? But give yourself that positive statement, that truth-based statement. I speak with clarity and courage when I talk about stuff that I know. You can do it. Visualize yourself doing it. Deep breath in, get a little breath out, pause, deep breath in, deep breath out, pivot. Imagine yourself speaking in front of the audience with confidence and courage. Anchor it with that truth-based statement for yourself. I'm speaking with confidence and clarity, and then make it happen. You're not ignoring the fear. You're not dismissing it with toxic positivity. Nobody cares. Everybody thinks you're wonderful. We're not doing any of that. We are saying, yes, this is scary, and this is why I'm doing it. My job is important to me. These people are important to me. This message is important for people here, and I'm going to do it. I have to tell myself this all the time when I'm doing my podcast. I think, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is going to resonate. I don't know if this is going to be helpful, but I know this stuff. I work with this stuff all the time. I help people with this all the time in my clinic. Just need to share it, and it's going to find the right people. And that's the important part, right? Okay, so when you are thinking about calming yourself down, taking that deep breath, reframing your thoughts, being connected to the people that matter to you, and aligning your core values with your why in life, all of that comes together. It really gives you a solid boost of confidence to do things, even when they're scary. So that is what I want you to try and put into practice. We cannot always stop that first wave of fear. It's going to come on because it's a very natural response, but we can shape the story that we tell ourselves about it. Once you see those red flags, you experience them, all the warning signs are going off, all the bells and whistles are blowing, you hear that, you notice that in your body, then you say, okay, what's the story I'm telling myself? I'm going to pause, I'm going to pivot, and we're going to do this anyways. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope it's helpful. I want to invite you to try it out at some point this week. When you notice yourself feeling anxious or fearful about something, give it some thought and say, I'm going to try out this pause and pivot method, and then let me know how it goes. Whether you come back to this episode wherever you're watching or listening and put it in the comments, or you send me a direct message and let me know that you tried it, or you send me an email, whatever it might be, I want to hear the success stories. So please share it with me. Also, if you've tried something similar to this before, let me know that as well, because I'm just naming it pause and pivot because I think that's fun and easy to remember, and it does a good job of describing what you're doing. But if you have another way of calling this or referring to it in your own mind that's worked for you, let me hear about it. I really like to hear these stories and I want to know what's working well for you. Just remember, you are not alone in your fears. There's nothing wrong with you. It makes sense that you're experiencing that fear and anxiety. That's a natural, normal phenomenon. Don't beat yourself up over it. But in that same breath, you don't have to stay stuck in those fears. They don't have to keep you in your little bubble, exploring the world and living the life that you want to live. You can do bigger and better things. You can face your fears. Just like me holding the scary snake, and I was posting a picture about it because I'm silly like that, okay? I faced my fear. I did it. I paused. I said, you know what? This is going to be fun. My friends and I are going to enjoy this. We're going to make a memory. And we did. I still remember that. It stands out to me. I remember the picture that we were taking and how we were holding the snake. And I can't believe I did it. It's very bizarre. Definitely not like me, but I did it. And that's a silly example. But even if it's a really big, scary, daunting task, you can do those too using this method. It's going to change your life if you don't let fear get in the way. And if you use this method to acknowledge, validate, and overcome your fear, you're really going to feel a whole lot better and excited about the things that you can do in life and can accomplish without letting fear get in the way. Okay, so that is all I have for you today. Next week, we are going to be talking about overcoming your overthinking and what to do when your brain starts spiraling. We've all done the what if, you know, questions over and over and over again. What if, what if, what if, what if, what if is not helpful at all, right? So if you're doing the I should have done this or I should have said that spiral, this is going to be helpful to you. So make sure you tune in next week for that. If you've not taken the wellness quiz yet, do that. If you did take the wellness quiz, I want to hear from you how it went, if you found it helpful, and share it with somebody else who would enjoy taking it as well. Also, if you liked this episode, if you thought it was helpful and you found something interesting that you want to apply to your own life, please be sure to share it with at least one other person who could benefit from hearing it or watching it as well. And go ahead and give the show a nice positive review, 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever it might be in the platform that you are using. Doing those things can really help me grow a new podcast. And I have gotten to the point now where I have enough episodes out. I think today's episode 14, where I am sharing it more with others so they can listen to it. So I'd ask that you would help me to do that as well. And thank you to those of you who have done that already. I really appreciate your support with getting the word out about the podcast. I think that is all. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope it was helpful to you, and I can't wait to hear about how you are using that pause and pivot method this week. Take care of yourself, and until next time, be well.